We started treating object 2 classes ago. In the last class, we I used that to explain the assignment, and the class before the last, I introduced you to object literal and also what we call the factory function. Factory function. These are different ways you can create an object. First, object literal, factory function. We have others anyway. We have what is that again? I think we have the object. I think it should be dot create. If I still remember very well, object dot create. Is it object dot create? Okay, I think there's one. Sorry. I think there is this object dot create. I'm going to check the internet now. But there's this one which I'm very sure of. You can use the new keyword, then object, new object. Now, I will need to explain this object to you before we go into that. Then that object or create, I think there is object or create. I will, like I said, let me see. Uh, Like I always say, the internet is your friend. Yes, there's object or create. You can use this to also create objects. Let's see. Object dot create. So you have this literal, then you use this to create another object of type person. I will explain later. So if we go back, let me see. Okay. Oh, I didn't share that screen. Sorry. So there's object dot create. And there is another way, number five. Number five, the constructor function. The constructor function. These are the different types that I can remember right away. So we have treated this and this one. Is there anyone anyone in the class who can tell me how to use object literal to create an object? Is there anyone in the class who can tell me how we can use the literal to create object? Follow me.
Yes, sir.
How do I create an object using the object literal? Don't waste my time. Do you know it? It's a yes or no answer. If you do,
No.
good. Um, Joshua,
Yes, sir.
do you know how to create objects using the literal?
No.
You don't know. Ademola, do you know how to create an object using the object literal? Hello, Demola.
No, sir, I don't know.
You don't know. Mary, do you know how to create an object using the object literal? Mary, are you with us?
No, sir, I don't know.
You don't know. Okay. I, if that's the case, I don't think we should continue with the class today. There's no point me going ahead of these two if none in this class can create objects with these two. What I will do instead is I'm going to replay um, David. Welcome.
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Yes, sir.
Were you in the class 2 classes ago away?
Actually, I'm not sure, but I think I watched the videos.
Okay, you
I'm not
watched.
sure.
Okay, you watched the video.
Yes, sir.
Okay, do you know how to create an object using this object literal?
Okay. I'm not sure. I'm not sure, sir. I'm not sure. But I can create an object, but using object literal, it sounds like the word object literal sounds, probably I've not watched the recent video because
Okay, what do you have in your brain that you are thinking? Tell me.
yeah, because if we want to create an object,
Mm-hmm.
we can use the keyword let, then the name of the object, then an object
Keyword
has
let.
property.
Let's say you want to create a car object. So you say let car.
If you can use let, you can use const too.
Okay, this
Let,
one
so
is creating the variable.
yeah,
Okay.
creating the variable.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be cost to, then you're going to open the braces, then it has property and value. You can as well
Okay, give
add
it
so
give
many.
it just two properties.
Okay, for car now, the properties can be color, red, probably the brand, Toyota, something like that.
No, tell me how to create it. Color.
Okay, color,
Mm-hmm.
then colon actually,
Column. Mm-hmm.
then red.
Red.
Yeah, we're going to add a comma. You
A
can
comma.
create as many properties you want. And
I said two properties.
okay, brand,
Brand.
yeah, colon.
Is that all?
Yes, sir.
Brand. Nothing.
I said colon,
Mm-hmm.
Toyota.
I didn't hear that Toyota part.
Okay. But if it's a string, actually, you're going to put it in strings, so like the
Oh,
quotes for strings.
okay. Yeah, good. Because
Yeah.
I was just waiting for you to land. Okay. Okay,
Then
fine.
you can add functions. But
No, no,
this
no. I
word
said two
object
properties.
literal.
This is object literal.
Okay, okay, okay.
I'm going back to the recording we did last. This is the recording.
Okay.
So I'm not going to share the. Let me pause it. Let me even pause this because there's no point me going ahead to do any recording today because I'm going to replay this. And if you have questions, tell me. I will pause it. Then I will explain. There's no point me going ahead with the next topic because there's no point. There's just no point doing that. Now, if I use the same variable, car, you can see it's still the same variable. Nothing has changed, but something has changed. And what is that? The type of data that I am assigning into this variable. This car is now a number. It all depends on what you are assigning into that variable. The data structure. If I say let's car, the same variable name, see, this is just like you having a carton, a container, and you now label that container car. This label does not care about what you are storing into this container. All it cares about is that my name is car. So you can assign anything you desire into this container to store therein. Now, as I said earlier on, this is a variable. If I decide to store an object into it, this is an object. I'm now using the object literal to assign an object to this car variable. So at this point in time, this car is now an object, no longer a number. If I say let's car, they assign this string. This variable is now a string because of these two double quotes. If I say let car, it's still a variable. If I say I'm assigning a collection of names, so because this is an array structure and I am assigning into this variable, so this car is now an array because of these square brackets. Array of what? Array of strings, because I have strings stored inside it. So using this object literal, I can create even an object called person. This is a variable name. Now I want to store an object called, giving it maybe first name, last name, age, all these are properties, and so on and so forth. Is there any question?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay. So I want to believe now that you can create an object using the object literal. Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. I think I later, okay, let me fast forward a bit. Since now you've understood this object literal.
Remember, numbers are not supposed to be in double quotes. Then, in some...
Hold it. Let me pause the recording there, because already you have this recording. So, Feromi. Hello, Feromi. Feromi is no more in the class. Joshua is no more in the class. Okay. Okay, Joshua is in the class.
So Joshua is.
Yeah, Joshua is the class. Okay. So now, Joshua. So do you have question now? Do you understand how to create an object using the object literal?
I do.
You do? Okay, I want you to do something for me. I'm going to clear this board. I want to create a person object. Now tell me, give me direction how to create a person object using the object literal.
So you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you, but you can speak louder.
So type let them person,
Left person.
then can type the person's name or no, put the equal sign first and what was called the bracket, the bracket.
This type or this
Yeah.
type? Which one?
The first one.
This first one. Okay.
Then put
So let's say I want this object to have just first name and last name properties. So how do I do that?
you can type name, then
I should type just name.
no.
Okay, so what should I
Then
type it there?
you put like I don't know how to say you can put
No,
some
just say what you have in your mind.
two dots by the side, then what you want to name them.
Like how? I'm trying to get you.
Like put the name, then put like the dots to separate.
Okay, like say first name. Okay, so
Then
what?
put the in between the first name, between the first and name.
So what am I putting here?
Um, the name of a person.
No, there's something before the name of the person.
The two dots that to separate them and to know that it's the name of a person that you're.
A dot, you said?
Yeah, the dots.
Just a dot?
No, just one more,
Huh?
one more by the side.
By the side here,
No, like underneath.
underneath. Okay, so what do you call that in English?
Um, uh,
What do you call this?
colon, colon,
You said what?
colon.
Column. Did you say column?
Yeah, columns.
Yes, it's column. So call it what it is.
I
Column.
forgot the name.
Okay. So I will now say Joshua. Yeah. Is that it?
Yeah,
Okay. So what's the next thing to do?
and to put the last name.
Okay, there's nothing you need to do before you put the last name here. There must be a comma
Okay.
to separate this first property from the second property.
Okay.
This is property. This is value. This is variable. Know what it is. Last name, then column, then whatever, maybe big. That's all. You've created an object. This is the object that has first name property and value Joshua and last name property with big value. This is a variable. And for me to now have access to any of these, I will now use this person dot to have access to this property, first name. So now if I do console.log on this will give me, will print out Joshua for me. Okay, I move on. So this is object literal. If you go back to that video, I actually talked about the second way that you can create an object called the factory function. The factory function. In the factory function, you have your function. Why do we, okay, let me just write it out first, then I will explain what is time. Yeah, I will soon round up. Let's say I want to create a blueprint. Okay, before I go into this, let me explain why do we need this? Why? That's the question. Why? Let's answer the why first. Now, let's say you own a business called maybe Bill Incorporation, right? It's a corporate business. And you have like about 200 employees. You have 200 employees. And you know that one employee, just one employee, is a person. Are you following me? Let me be sure about in my audience. Demola, are you following me?
No, I'm following.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. David, are you following me? David, are you following me? See, this is a problem. It appears you guys are not present. Mary, are you following me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you. So Joshua is not there. Sorry. David is not there. Joshua is there. Demola is there. Mary is there. Now, one employee is a person. Why am I going through this route? The reason is because I want you to understand how you can make decision on data, the type of data structure to use in your programming. Let me go back to that this PowerPoint. Although I'm still preparing this thing, but I know I've said this many times before now. I know I've said this many times. Now look at this. Understanding these data types along with their properties and behavior is fundamental for effective programming, not just JavaScript programming, whether C#, Java, Python, whatever language it is. You must be able to understand the data you are working with or working on. If you cannot figure that out, there's no way you can program. Because programming is all about data manipulation, data presentation. You get the input from the users, you manipulate it, not not in a shady way or in fraudulent way. What do I mean by manipulation? Means that you try to clean the data to present it in a way that the top management or whatever user can understand. So you need to be able to identify the data. I'm trying to explain why we need this factory function. Please pay attention. I'm repeating it. Pay attention. So you have 200 employees, and one employee is a person. We have a type of data structure, a variable. If I say employee, we have a type of data structure that can hold just one item. It can hold or save or store one item. For example, name. Let's say Sean. Nothing more. can I use this kind of structure to store my employee, one person? No. The question is why? Because a person has first name, he or she has last name, he or she has age or date of birth, address. He or she can do something, maybe type. So this is now action. This is behavior now. We call this behavior in programming. It can type, or it can program, or it can manage projects. For example, you can see a lot of information about just one person. And there's no way I can use a data structure that can hold just one item. So this is a no-no for me. So I can't use this. I'm taking you through thought process now. Now I have another data structure called the array. Yes, array can hold multiple items, multiple data. But an array cannot hold behaviors, functions. Remember, a method is a function that belongs to an object. So that is the reason why I cannot use an array. So obviously, the kind of data structure I can use is an object. Because an object, with object, I can indicate the first name of that person. If I now say I want to create the object using object literal, so that means that I want to create the first name, maybe the first person, Sean, then last name, maybe, for example, Bill, date of birth, I can put it in there, 12th of January, 1994, for example. I can say skill, which is a function now. Now a method. I can say Bill can type. So I can say, for example, maybe console.log typing, just for example, typing. Now, if I say I want to use object literal, so that means that I will go to the first employee, create object, go to the second employee, create object, and maybe in the process, right? Maybe initially I defined first name, last name for everybody, date of birth, and the skill. And I went through the process of the pain of creating 200 different employees, right? And later, you as the MD, you not tell your programmer or your developer that I want you to include departments into the property of the employee. I want to know where each of the employee belong to. So then that means that you now go back again and start creating department in 200 places. That is hard work. And that is not a good way to work. And that is the reason why we need something like a factory function or constructor function. They almost do the same thing. Factory function, constructor function, object or create, and so on and so forth. Just like, let me clear my screen now. Just like a building, you have your architectural plan. Architectural plan. So you have a plan. Is on paper called the blueprint. We call it blueprint. Demola, are you with me? Demola, are you with me? David, are you with me?
Yes, sir.
So I'm with you as well.
Okay, Joshua is with me. Feromi, are you with me? Mary.
Yes,
I
sir.
just joined.
Okay. Ademola is no longer with me. Now, just like we have this plan, my question to you, this plan is not the one that give you the object, which is the building, the structure of the building. It is now the civil engineer who will now employ the brick layers and other technicians. So the civil engineer will now interpret this blueprint and create the actual object. This is the actual object that we can see. This blueprint is not the object. This is the object. So you can now use this blueprint to create as many objects as you want. Same thing goes with programming. You create a blueprint. In this case, person. In one place. Give it the argument. Okay, I want this blueprint to have a first name, have a last name, have the age, have the department, and maybe the skill. So in just one place, I can now create each of them. That's okay. First name, whatever value that is passed into the parameter argument, I will now put it in there. I will assign it into this property. This is now the property. Right? No. I am mixing it up. I'm mixing function factory with what's it called? The constructor function. Let me correct that. The function factory or factory function returns, it will return. I know, I hope you remember what return is doing. I've explained that in the past. Let me clean this up. Let me put it down here so that to just create space. So it will return an object. You can see that this is now what, like object literal, right? Whatever is inside here is now object literal. So this will return that object. So now I will have the first name, comma, last name, and so on like that till you get to the last one, skill, which is now a function. A function, then you give it the behavior in there, like console, for example. Don't worry, I just want you to understand the basic things. By the time we go down further into this programming class, I hope you guys will be able to follow on. Because at that time, we now be applying the knowledge to the real world scenario. So once I have created this blueprint somewhere, easily I can start use, all these things may be in one database somewhere. So easily I will just use my loop, fetch data from the database, then use my loop to create each person. Maybe employee one, I will say maybe the first person is okay, I will say employee one, for example, employee one. Then I'm going to call this function person. Then assign the name and property of this person, like maybe Sean, comma, Bill, comma, okay, better is better to use date of birth, DOB, maybe 12th January 1995, department, and so on. So it is my loop that will now start creating all this to 200. I do not need to physically create them. I will just loop through the data fetched from the database and create my object. Now, if in future I need to alter anything here, all I need to do is to come to this blueprint and add whatever I want to add. Maybe I want to add experience, for example, experience. I just add experience here. Automatically, because the blueprint is changed, automatically every other thing will change in one place. I do not need to start recreating the employee one after the other till I get to 200. It is so too laborious for me to do as a programmer or developer. So this is factory function. Factory function. Let us demonstrate it just before because our time is fast spent. We have 4 minutes to end this class. Let me quickly go to the browser. We treated this last week anyway, and in two classes away. So let's say I create the person. I'm going to limit it. So maybe first name, last name, because of my time. So I will say return. So I'm returning the object. So I will say first name, the property, column, FN. Okay, let me change it to capital letter. Then the last name, Ellen. So I've created my factory function. So this will return me the object. So in real life, I will just fetch data from the database, right? So I will just start assigning them to the employee. So I can call this employee 1 person. So from the data I got from the database, I'll just put it maybe Sean in that case, then last name Bill. So if I check what I have inside this employee 1, you see that it is that Sean and Bill created. First name is Sean, last name is Bill. So for me to access, if I want to print out the first name, remember it's an object. I will use the dot operator, then the first name. So I can now do console.log, print it out to the console. You can see Sean, right? I can do last name. Remember, it must be, you must use the dot operator to access it. Bill. But if the, what's it called? The properties are so many, like for example, maybe the person has first name, last name, date of birth, address, and so many things, phone number, postcode, whatever, many things. You cannot be doing this one after the other, and that is the reason why I taught you the for in loop. The for in loop. I can say for let me just call it info in this employee, inside this employee. I can now loop through each of the properties, and I will now get print out. I can say, okay, console.log. Let's say I want to print it out, console.log. What is inside this employee 1? Now, this info, we get the property. We get this one first, print it out, get this one, print it out. So to access it, you use the square bracket, info, right in there. Let me clear the screen so that it won't appear that you are seeing the old data. If I run the code, you will see that in one place, with ease, I can print out all the values, the name, the bill, the surname, or the last name, as the case may be, for that particular employee. Let's assume what's it called? The blueprint is changed. I added department here, right? So, comma, department. Then, let's see, its department is IT. And I run the code again. You can see in one place, the first name, the last name, and the department is printed out for me. Is there any question today? I will not go beyond this class today, this topic today. Is there any question?
No. No question.
Mary, is there any question?
No, sir. No, sir.
Feromi, is there any question?
No, sir.
David, is there any question?
No, sir. I just have to watch the recording again to,
Ademola, is
practice
there
it.
any question?
No, sir.
Okay. So to recap, we have treated two ways to create objects. The first is object literal, and the second is factory function. The object literal, you create the object by indicating the variable, then you put your curly braces. For the factory function, you create a function, and that function will return an object. So you can create as many objects as you want from that blueprint. All right. I'm not going to give any assignment today. You have many recordings posted to the platform. It's on YouTube. Go and review these recordings. I will not go back to what I've treated again. I had no choice but to go back today. Because I asked a question, object literal. Nobody can answer me very well except David, who answered, but he too wasn't sure. He just knew how to create an object, but he does not know that that method is called object literal. But now I believe, David, you know that that method is called object literal. You should know things by their names. You cannot go into the wide and just be creating things just for creating sake without you knowing what it is. Know what it is. Know the jargon. Know the name. Know that this one is object literal. Know that that one is array. Know that that one is object. Know that that one is variable. Know that that one is shrink. Know that that one is number. Know that that one is boolean, and so on and so forth. Know them by their names, by their components. Okay. All right. Thank you. See you in the next class. Is there any question?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir.
No question? All right.
No.
Thank you.